All right, everyone, if you're just joining us, you know what you're here for, right? Lightning Talks! Yay! If you're coming in, come sit to the close. Sit to the close. Come closer and sit up front with us.
Come in
Unless
the
that's
front, there will be more fun.
There you go. Come to the close. That's a new phrase. I'm going to popularize it. But yes, welcome to Lightning Talks Day 1. And how was everyone's PyCon Day 1? Well, of main conference. I'm sorry, we can do better than that.
Just that? Come on.
Woo!
Woo!
Awesome. Very, very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm very, very excited about the lineup of speakers we have. We have some really, really cool topics. But before we get going, my name is Lorena. I will be one of your MCs today. And
I'm the other half of the MCs. I'm Chuck.
fantastic. So Lightning Talks, what are they? They are 5-minute talks. So each speaker is going to have a tight 5 minutes. What happens, though, if a speaker is getting close to 5 minutes and they might not be wrapping up?
Then we're gonna punish. No, we don't do that. We're gonna be very gently and kindly reminding them. So when it's like 30 minutes to
About 30 seconds, not 30 minutes.
30 seconds towards the end, we'll do a little tap.
And you should partake with us. We'll start with a very gentle tap and increasingly get louder as we get closer to 5 minutes. And then at 5 minutes, they are off.
Big
and we go
round of applause for the speakers.
And then the next speaker is up. So how can you sign up for Lightning Talks?
Well, as you may see today, outside of the expo hall, there's actually two very curious boards outside. And
the boards, the way that we are doing them, feel free to go ahead, pitch a talk. We have so many people who pitch talks. Unfortunately, we can't do all 50 or 60 or however many we have. So we do actually invite a subset of those. So please keep an eye on your email. For example, if you are pitching for tomorrow morning, after the end of this session of Lightning Talks, we're going to go ahead and look at the lineup. We will email people who are selected. So if you don't see an email, unfortunately that means, hey, maybe not this time, but please feel free to pitch again, and then we will send all the logistics in there. If it's for the afternoon talks, we will notify you around lunchtime. So again, morning talks the evening before, afternoon talks will notify you around lunch.
yeah, so people ask like, oh, how can I get selected? Well, be creative, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think we like? So you have to guess what we like and try to, write the title as something that we like.
Exactly. Really, it's up to you what you want to talk about. So, sky's the limit. Have fun. We're really excited to see what y'all come up with. And was that it, or is there anything else?
There's actually one more thing, because the Sunday morning Lightning Talks is slightly different. As you know, we have so many people here, and we also have like online audience. We want to promote regional Python conference, so people who may not be able to come to Pittsburgh will be able to find a local event to join. So if you are an event organizer, you of course need to be a Python related event. So please send in only one slice in PDF format to my email, me, at chuck.dev. And you would have a chance to give a 30 seconds pitch of your event. If you're here, please, you have to be there for the Sunday morning. But if you are not here, you may be able to find a proxy in the venue to help you out, then you can also do that. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think it's time for us to go ahead and get started with our awesome Lightning Talks. Up first, we have Trey, who's a pretty cool human, and I think has a really, really awesome way for us to kick off Lightning Talks. So, without further ado, take it away, Trey.
So my lightning talk is a little bit meta. It's to encourage you to give a lightning talk. I love lightning talks, and I'd like you to give a lightning talk at PyCon, at a regional conference, at your local meetup, or at work. I'm going to share some tips that I'm hoping will inspire you to give your first lightning talk. And disclaimer, if there are other lightning talks that don't follow all these tips, that's okay. Some of them can be broken. When thinking up a topic, remember that you want to deliver value to your audience. That could mean reviewing a familiar concept. It could mean teaching folks a new skill. It might mean shedding light on a topic that's new or unfamiliar. It could mean entertaining people with a fun story. You could talk really broadly about a subject that barely just introduced the subject. Or you could dive very, very deeply, very, very quickly into a really niche topic that only a handful of people know about. Use an outline. Make a bulleted list of the points that you'll cover and hone that list down to something that fits in 5 minutes. The first thing that you'll want to do is set expectations in your talk. If there's background information that's necessary, either review it or state that it's needed. You only need one takeaway in your talk. The fewer the takeaways, the better, but again, try to stick to one. Don't be afraid to cut things out because you can always elaborate more later in the hallway and tell folks, find me after the talk. Keep it simple. Limiting the number of variables in your talk decreases the likelihood that things could go wrong. For your first talk, use slides. Don't do a live demo for your first talk, or really ever in a lightning talk if you can avoid it, unless you are very brave. And I know there's at least one brave person after me. Live demos are really hard to pull off, so I don't recommend them, especially in a lightning talk. When showing code blocks, make sure that people can read the code on a projector in a well-lit room. Use dark text on a light background if you can. Don't use white text on a black background if you can avoid it. It's usually harder to read that on a projector. Make your font size big so that people can read it in the back of the room, and don't put too much on each slide. Write speaker notes, edit and re-edit those notes, script your talk as much as you can. There is no shame in scripting your talk. Performances are fun. In fact, you may notice that most of your favorite conference speakers very heavily rely on their speaker notes. In fact, many of them read from them, as I am doing now. Ideally, remove non-essential parts of your talk that you notice while rehearsing. If it doesn't need to be in the talk, cut it out. If it's under 5 minutes, no one's going to complain. Worst case planning, if you only have 80% of your talk left, or if you have 80% of your talk left and only 30 seconds to go, what is the 10-second takeaway that you want to deliver before you get kicked off the stage? Have that lightning pitch ready. Lightning talks have a hard 5-minute limit. As you approach that limit, don't panic. As your time limit is coming up too soon, or if it is coming up too soon, give people your 10-second pitch and move on. After your talk, give yourself a pat on the back. If you are an introvert like I am, congratulations. You just broke the ice with a whole bunch of people. Now, people know what to talk to you about when they see you in the hallway later. If you see me in the hallways, ask me for a sticker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello? Whoa. Thank you very much. That is very, very good summary of how to give a lightning talk. I hope you got inspired and start writing your lightning talk on the peculiar board outside of the expo hall. So next, I'm really looking forward to this talk. It's by Takanori-san from Japan, and teaches how to use, learn Japanese. And I'm learning Japanese, so I really want to know how. And Takanori-san, 準備できたか?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
So big round of applause. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Hi, I'm Takanori. I'm from Japan. My talk title is Learn Japanese with Python. Before main topic, I'm one of the co-chairperson of the PyCon JP 2024. Where CFP call for proposal is open. We are waiting English awesome talks. Please submit. Please check the 2024.pycon.jp. And first, I have questions. Have you learned Japanese before? So small. And are you interested in Japanese? 10% or 20%, thanks. And I know, and you know, Japanese is a difficult language. And one of the difficult points in the 3 types of characters, hiragana and katakana and kanji characters, and this is the same meaning. The snake is heavy, and beer is beer. And second problem is no spaces between words. This is a correct Japanese sentence. Sumomomomomomo no uchi. Can you recognize this this is a correct word segmentation is a sumomo, mo, momo, mo, momo no uchi. Normally Japanese can recognize this. And another problem is multiple readings of kanji. This kanji character is day and sun, and normally almost kanji character have two types of reading style, Japanese style and Chinese style. This kanji character Japanese style reading is nichi and hi, and Chinese style reading is jitsu and ka. And for example, this is Sunday is a nichi yobi, and this previous day is a zenjitsu. Same kanji character but different readings. Oh. and the same combination but different readings with kanji idioms. This kanji character, kanji idiom is a first day or one day, but this is a ichi nichi me, day one. But this time, ichigatsu tsuitachi, so difficult. And another special readings of kanji idioms. This is a today and yesterday and tomorrow kanji idioms, and same kanji character, but the kyo, kino, asu is a special readings, no rule. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I know. How to learn Japanese with Python? Python can support you learning Japanese. And no space between words problems, momo no uchi, is I use Japanese morphological analyzer, SudachiPy and SudachiDict. You can pip install and run this tokenize this text, then get the sumomo momo no uchi. Correct. And next problem, multiple readings of kanji. This sentence have same kanji character but different readings. I use morphological analysis with this kanji character is a kyo, is a reading form is kyo, and known part of speech is known. And get whole readings from sentences is kyo wa 1月1日で日曜日 is correct. Can't read katakana character? I know. I can use JA combat for the Japanese character combating. Katakana to hiragana and katakana to alphabet. If you read hiragana character, you can read this. And if you read alphabet, kyo, ha, ichi, gatsu, almost correct. Okay. And want to hear the audio? I use a text-to-speech for the Amazon Poly with a Boto library. And when you run this script, you can get the audio file. And I made a sample application with these libraries with Streamlit. This is a demo, and you can enter the text, and this makes the word segmentation information and reading information. You can get another sentence. You can read, 今日は1月1日で日曜日. And you can hear,
今日は1月1日で日曜日.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. This slide, you can check the slides.takanori.net and you can read the code, this link. Thank you for organizing PyCon US and thank you for attending. And you learn Japanese and come to Japan. See you, PyCon JP.
I'm learning Klingon, so I think I need something like that. So Klingon's really interesting and very glottal. So if anyone wants to do like a primal scream with me and do some Python stuff like that, get it, a girl. Anyways, our next speaker is Kwanhan, and I think this is a really awesome topic and actually very, very timely because we have the Python Software Foundation Board of Directors election coming up. And if you have not yet registered as a PSF member, you can do so through, I believe it's June 25th. But we do have someone here who's going to talk a little bit about what life is like as a Python Software Foundation director.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Kwanhan. I'm the one of the PS director. I want to talk about my 1 year as a PS director. Actually, it's not a year. Yeah, it has not been a year. about 300 days. I did a writing talk last year. I talked about 10 years of PyCon Korea last year, and many people like that. I just wanted to share my 10-year experience of PyCon Korea experience, because to end of my journey. But after the writing talk, people, my lovely Python folks, come to me and give more energies. Yeah, it's in person. With the power, I learned for the PS board. Actually, I did it for the procs, my Python procs, as they wanted to be a board, so I just run as a running mate. As you know, you need mate for running long way. It's very long way. But I don't know why it happened. I got an email from the PS board. Actually, I didn't want it, but it happened. So my sweat started. My mother didn't tell me what should I do as a PS board. I didn't know. It's a US nonprofit. I don't know. I'm Korean. So I want to share what I got as a PS director. What does PS board do? There is 2 versions. Simple version. Oh, you have something to vote. Vote. That's all. But long version is important. That's what I want. We are seriously talking about what's good at Python impact. It's very seriously. What's the effective way to spread Python with very limited resources? But need to move forward, at least a little by little. What is PS board? PS board is presenting your Python interests. The most important part is your. It means it's nothing without you. We are nothing without you lovely Python pros. We represent your Python interests, so please help us with you, not myself. Please be the PS member. We want to know about you. Come to the other region and talk with them. We got a new one called Python co-developer in Korea. I didn't know him before he talked to me. Oh, I became the Python co-developer. Why? What happened? What happened in Korea? PyCon Korea team asked Carol Willing come to Korea. He met Prox in PyCon, and at that time, sympathetic her. I didn't know what happened. After that, Carol got a co-Python committer. Dong Hee met Carol from that time, spent 2 years to see Python. So he became the co-developer. That's what I want to tell you about. We need more folks from the outside of my regions. In my case, outside of Asia, outside of Korea. Please come to us. As a PS director, I want to connect more. Spread more Python to the world. If you have any help, let me know. I can help you as a director. We can connect more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's really touching. Like every time, I still remember that lightning talk last year, and it's really sweet. And I'm really glad that I got to be in the board with you, Hong Han. So thank you. Next, we have also someone from South Korea. Yay! And this time, I'm a little bit of a fan of PyLady. So we are talking about how to reboot PyLadies in South Korea. So thank you, Soji. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm a PyLady Seoul organizer, and I'm here today to talk about the journey of reviving PyLady's soul. My name is Sujin Yoon, a 3-year web server developer who loves using Python Django in South Korea. Currently, I work at a startup called Wishcat, which specializes in IT outsourcing. I'm also an organizer for PyLady Soul. Last year, I gave a presentation about Python import at PyCon Korea and did a lightning talk at PyCon APAC about reducing CI time. I love Python like you guys do. Nice to meet you. As many of you know, the presentation of women in the IT industry is quite low. This is especially true in South Korea, where the number of web developers using Python is really small, and among them, the number of women is even smaller. Living as a woman in Korea isn't easy. Women often have to be overly modest because otherwise they can be seen as showing off. Because of these societal pressures, I believe it's important for more women to come together and support each other. At the last PyCon Korea, I was really disappointed to hear that there were fewer than 5 female speakers, including myself. This was upsetting because I know there are many talented women out there. I hope more of them will come forward and share their knowledge. This led me to think about the importance of having a community for female Python users. I found out that PyLady Soul existed but had been inactive for a while. Last year at PyCon APAC in Tokyo, I met the members of PyLadies Tokyo. Hearing their stories inspired me to believe that we could also revive PyLady Soul. Thanks to the support of many people, we were able to organize our first meeting. It was small but successful. Starting this year, we plan to invite speakers, hold tutorials, and continue networking activities. We also want to connect and collaborate with other PyLadies from many other cities around the world. By the way, I have been volunteering at the PyLadies booth for the past couple of days. Even though my English isn't perfect and I made a lot of mistakes, the other PyLadies have been incredibly supportive. Their help has meant a lot to me, and it has inspired me to want to give back. I hope to become someone who, like them, can offer assistance to others in the future. I'm grateful for global conferences like PyCon US that bring together so many women and friends from around the world to support each other. You know, when I first started out, Python was just another programming language to me, but now it feels more like a cool way to connect with people all over the world. It's amazing how Python has brought together this awesome community of people who share the same passion for it. It really puts a smile on my face to be able to chat and connect with so many folks. And hey, I'm always up for meeting new people and having a chat. So if you see me around, feel free to come say hi. Please show a lot of interest and support for PyLady Soul. This is Twitter and LinkedIn QR code. You can follow at any time. Thank you for your attention.
Did you know we have approximately 250 PyLadies chapters around the world? Yeah, give it up. I see Lynn in the front here, and I'm like, that number has gotten huge. But yeah, so we're going to pivot a little here. We're going to talk about some passion, some handball, and we're going to go ahead and pass it now to our next speaker, Berta.
Okay, hi everyone. So I am actually a PyLady. So that's one thing that you need to know about me if these things works. So few things that you need to know about me before this presentation. One of them is that I am the main organizer of the Budapest PyLadies chapter. We actually started last year. I have a cute cat named Picur. It basically means little one in Hungarian. And I'm a data scientist by day and a handball fan by night. Together with my family, we played many years together, and we love watching handball as well. And my experience as a PyLadies organizer is that there are many people who come to me and ask, what project should I work on to practice? Like, we held workshops and we teach people how to code and how to use different libraries, and they want to do some practice. So, quick question here. Are you familiar with this sensation? Like, I want to do something, but I'm not sure what to practice? Okay, so when these questions come to me, I usually tell them about my journey when I started out in this field. And you know, I wanted to try to solve something that was a problem for me, which is when our handball match is broadcasted. Because we basically organized our lives around some important matches sometimes. And before I knew how to code, I was actually looking up matches in the TV guide and manually putting them into calendar so that we can plan around them. But when I started coding and I learned about web scraping and how to automate stuff, I actually got the idea of the handball calendar, which first I created in R, because that's where I started. And then when I moved to Python, I also moved the whole project to Python. And basically, the end product is something like this. It's a Google Calendar that is shared across my family with about 400 lines of code that already involves a lot of additional stuff. It's color-coded based on the broadcaster channel, so like first you will know what channel to look for. And it's been used in like around 8 years now. And it's a small problem, but it does help a lot when it comes to our passion of like knowing when a handball match is and when we should come together or when we should talk about the match that we have just shown, because that's a common thing for us to do. So what I want you to take away from this talk, and I hope that I managed to inspire you to do something, which is to practice, that if we are learning a new language or a new library, it's really important to practice. And you know, a good pet project doesn't have to be like a big project, or you don't have to get involved at the beginning in like international, open source stuff or solve one of the world's problems. But it should be something that you are really passionate about, that is solving a problem for you, or it's just something that you love. Like a topic for me, it's handball. In my opinion, it shouldn't be too big or too complex, because otherwise you are going to get lost in it. And it should be something that you enjoy working on. And you know, it's okay to change course if you feel like you can try a project and maybe that was not the good one, and just come up with another problem that you can solve. Main thing is to keep on practicing until you feel that comfortable with that, whatever you are practicing at the moment. And that's the main thing I wanted to show you, and thank you for your attention. Not sure if you know about handball. I know it's really not popular in the US. It's more popular in Asia, Europe, and South America and Africa, but it's a really dynamic and dynamic sports that require strength, stamina, and speed. It has a lot of goals because you see about 60 goals per 60 minutes, so 1 goal per minute usually. There are some really last-minute bravados where it's literally the last second when a match is decided, and it requires really advanced technical skills. Thank you for listening to me, and I will give the word to the next presenter.
Thank you so much. Actually, as you can tell, I'm not a very sporty person, so I know nothing about handball, but now I know something about handballs. And next, we have Kushal will give a controversial lightning talk. Because he had been walking around and telling people about this talk idea, so we'll be like, okay, we'll let you tell us. So, so take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Kushal Dash. That QR code should have linked to some notes about the talk. And I want to mention that this is a personal talk. I'm not representing any group here. And also a content warning. This talk covers topics including war, genocide, death, Holocaust, and Israeli operations in Gaza. So, I want to go back in history sometime. In 2001, in a book, Edwin Black mentioned how in the Nazi Germany, machine-tabulated census data was used to identify Jews, especially the people who had only one Jew ancestor, or maybe a very few. That's one of the biggest examples we have from history where technology was used to identify and kill people. Now, people tried to fight back various ways, and one of the best examples we have is from Netherlands, where they tried to bomb and destroy the civil registry office, destroy the data. They managed to destroy around 15% of the data, but still they tried. Now, if we fast forward the modern day, we are developers, correct? We are using computers, technology a lot more. And while doing so, we are generating more data. And we are generating even more metadata, the data about data. We love to have our debug logs. We love to have all the information as much as possible in the debug logs. But many of you will be thinking, like, why does it matter? What's wrong with having metadata? And that answer was given by ex-NSA chief that you can read the slide, and that's in a report, publicly stated. And if you want to know more about these examples, there was also a whistleblowing happened, and Intercept had this particular leak of papers called drone papers, where they talk about assassinations in countries like Afghanistan, Yemen, Somalia. Now, those are old stories, you can say. We can come again more near our favorite topic in any conference ever. You can guess, AI, artificial intelligence. And we can see like reports where it talks about a technology called Lavender, which is an artificial intelligence tool, which marked more than 37,000 Palestinians as target. The military decided to use something for speed, then accuracy, and then killing thousands of people in this process. This is the same technology which we all are developing. Not this way, in a different level, but we do not know how technology will be used. If you want to see more how these things are happening, the Tor project wrote a fantastic blog post where they talk about this kind of surveillance industry, where technology is being used to do the surveillance across the world. And you know, because there are a lot of leaks and whistleblowing happened in this country too, and across the world. Now, this is an even latest example. A couple of days ago, Google was happy to talk about one of their latest tool on phone, Gemini Nano, which can actually listen to the conversation and identify spam messages, spam calls, which is great. But then actual experts across the world, including here Matthew Green, who called upon, like, it might be listening only today, but tomorrow, maybe because of law changes, maybe for other reasons, it might have to listen, analyze, and report to police and other countries, to the government. Do we want all of our conversation on the phone to be listened? And this is happening, by the way, before any encryption. So it doesn't matter which tool we use. I want to talk about this particular point, that we create technology, but we do not know where and how those will be affected. There are other stories also in the good side. In this example, where police raided Mulvad VPN office, but because there was no logs and their lawyer successfully showed that you cannot have any user information, you cannot learn more about it. So the thing I want to tell you that the code we write may be really good for us, but we should also think that just because if we can create a tool, should we create it? That QR code will have more details, and talk to me afterwards. I'll be here in PyCon. Thank you.
Our next speaker is going to be talking to us about some cool things we can build with CircuitPython. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it to our next speaker.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Radomir Dopieralski. I'm known around the internet as Deshipu, and I wanted to tell you about a project I'm working on. So a few years ago, we were making workshops for people for learning to program Python, and we decided, okay, we want to have people, make computer games, because computer games are a nice topic, and all kids love computer games, so that's also a good motivation for learning. But it turns out that you organize the workshop, people bring their laptops, and this one has Windows 95, that one has some version of Linux, that one has Mac OS on it, that one has Windows, but it doesn't have an administrator password, so you can't really install anything on it. And you spend half of the workshop basically troubleshooting problems with installing things. And then when you finish, the participants write their games, and they can't even show their games to their friends. They cannot send the game to their friends because their friends would have to install the same things on their computers for this to work. So that's a bit discouraging. So that was before there was Pygame 0 and Mu editor and things like that that are easy to install now. So we came up with this device called PewPew, which is a very cheap, basically hardware game console, which has MicroPython running on it. So you don't have to install anything on your own computer. The code runs on the tiny little chip in here on the device. And that solved a lot of problems for us. You can just connect it and start coding. It's very simple because it only has 8 by 8 pixels, and you only get to set them to 4 different colors. So the games you make, it's like Snake or Tetris, very simple things that you can easily explain. But and that really works, and we keep doing those workshops with those devices. But I thought maybe, I have some hobby project myself, and one of them is robots. And I thought maybe I could make a similar thing that is even more like interesting to kids, because things that move, they are inherently interesting to people. And so I designed this really little tiny robot that actually walks. It's not like a Roomba that just moves around your room. It's actually, I wanted to have this animation thing in it. And I'm going to show you a live demo, never do that. This is the little guy. I can make it. It's currently walking very slowly. You can make it walk a bit faster. And the nice thing about this, it's running CircuitPython on it. So basically, when you connect it to the computer, it comes as a USB drive. And you can just edit you can see the Python files, the Python code in there. And you just edit it with any editor. When you save it, it automatically restarts and runs your code. So it's very simple to program. You don't need anything on your computer, and you can play with it easily. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And every time I will be amazed by your creation. I remember I still have a Pew Pew device that I really enjoy playing with. And yeah, so please check out. Do you have a website? I think you showed the website, right? So, yeah, please check it out. Yeah, so next we have Marie. Yeah, it's going to show something that I've been like really interested recently because I tell some people that I'm trying to like do some image recognition thing, trying to recognize mahjong tiles. But yeah, maybe I can learn something from this lightning talk. So it's about how to do some image search. So yeah, so take it away. Thank you.
Let's say you're a Norwegian cat historian, and you want to find and read every single book in Norwegian history that contains this illustration of a cute cat. What do you do? Well, you can go to the National Library of Norway, you can sit down and you can flip through every single page of every single book ever published in Norway and note down every time you see something that looks like this cat. It might take a while. I'm Maria, by the way. I work at the Digital Humanities Lab at the National Library of Norway, and I'm going to talk about how to use Python to search for similar images in every Norwegian book ever published. Well, kinda. So the National Library of Norway has for hundreds of years now worked on collecting all published books, newspapers, magazines, posters, radio, television, and more. That's a lot of data, a lot of knowledge, and an important part of the library's work is to make this knowledge available. So, almost 20 years ago now, the library was crazy enough to say, let's scan all these books. And they did. Or almost. And that's why I add the kinda at the end of the talk title, because not every book is in the collection, and not everything has been digitized. But practically all books have been. So at the Digital Humanities Lab, we create tools to help researchers and other curious people explore and analyze our vast digitized collection, like this cat historian. So back to these cat images and how to find them. We need to solve 3 problems. First, how can we measure similarity between images? Second, how can we search through all the images to find the most similar? And third, how can we make sure our solution is easy to use for people without a technical background? Well, Python can help with all 3 problems. So for the first problem, we start by remembering that all digital images are really just numbers. Numbers that tell how light or dark each pixel is. And that's excellent news because it means we can use mathematics. So one way we could measure similarity is by taking one image and then subtracting it from the other image and see how big the remainder is. The problem is that images are really complex, so small visual changes, like just shifting the image 1 pixel to the right, will lead to huge differences if we measure it this way. So we want to first calculate some representation, some numerical summary that's meaningful and disregards such small visual changes before we calculate the difference. And one approach for this is to take advantage of recent advances in computer vision and use an AI model that's been trained to classify the contents of the image. The idea here is that if this model has learned a representation that's useful for classifying the image as a cat or a dog or whatever, then this representation will likely also be useful when measuring similarity. But how can we do this in practice? With Python, of course. Tools like PyTorch and Hugging Face makes it really easy for people to share models that they've trained on huge data sets of images, and then we can apply these pre-trained models to our scanned book illustration elements. So now we have a way of giving each illustration element a score based on how similar it is to the cat we're looking for, but there are about 30 million illustration elements in the scanned books, so it's not practical to go through each one to find the most similar, and a smarter approach is to use a hierarchical search algorithm. And the great news is that there are several terrific tools for this available for Python. We happen to use Quadrant. And then we need a way for users to interact with this database. And again, Python can help. We use FastAPI to create an API on top of the on-prem vector database, and Flask to create the public front end. Here is a demo of the image search. For now, it only supports books from the 1800s, but already it is really interesting to explore the illustrations in these old books. And as you can see, we did find the cat we were looking for. If you want to explore all Norwegian book illustrations, here is the link. And to summarize, we've seen that open source Python tools can help researchers and other curious people explore and analyze Norwegian history and cultural heritage. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that talk. All right, moving along. Our next speaker, Aroma, I love the name of this talk. I think it's fantastic. Only bad demos in the building. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you to take it away.
So today we are going to talk about not one, not two, but 3 failed experiments. So only bad demos in the building. This is a story of what went down in like a week of my life. This was the week when a bunch of AI things were coming out. So we were all having this sort of existential crisis of like whether AI will take over our job, whether we will survive AI automation, and reports which is full of really existential things. So I went into an existential crisis, which led me to go read some Stoicism, which led me to discover philosophy, and I had a bunch of philosophical questions. So who gets to keep their jobs in a post-AI world? Now, because I code in Python, I decided to use Python or things that used Python to answer this question. So my first question was, will forensic portrait makers keep their jobs or not? Now, this is an LLM story. I decided to use 2 different LLMs to go generate images using descriptions from a data set. And these are the results. Are you convinced? Are they going to keep their jobs or not? So these are from Midjourney, and these are from DALL-E. I have like 20 different sets of these images, and it seems like they are going to keep their jobs. They're safe. So anyone who's looking for like different employment, this is the career to go for. So basically, I found out that they're not going to lose their jobs. I didn't know about mine. What did I do then? I was like, well, if I lose my job, what am I going to do? And I've had this dream project of writing my own travelogue because I travel a lot. But it has logistical issues. For example, I take a lot of photographs, but I write down nothing. But I want to write a travelogue. So for example, I took like 300 odd photos of a day out in Chennai. And I was like, how am I going to write this? So I decided to make AI write it because it's taking all of my jobs. It might as well take all of my hobbies. So I wrote this script called Lazy Travelogue and just used a pre-trained model and fed it all of my photos from my Google Drive. And it did really well. It may actually take over my hobbies. So as you can see in this image, it says that on her day out in Chennai, Aroma I saw out through a window. It's right, I did see out of a window. On the next caption, it says, on her day out in Chennai, she spotted a car driving down the street. Now, as an artist, I'm sort of offended by this, because I would have pointed out the colors of the buildings, but it has decided to fixate on the cars, which is fine. It has taken over all of my hobbies. I have no choice. So I gave up, and I went to watch a movie to try to relax. The movie that I watched was Clueless. And I came upon this image in that movie where the woman in the movie, she basically uses a program to match her outfits. Now, I love matching my outfits. Anyone who's seeing me today can actually deduce that. But I decided to test if AI can do that too. Can AI match my outfits for me? So I decided to write this other script, which I call Fashion Crime, because you should not make AI do this. You should not. But I tried to. Took up like a bunch of data sets from Hugging Face and a bunch of like other pre-trained models. Try to come up with like the detected rectangle of where the dress is supposed to be, and then superimpose it with the dress that I would like to impose on the model. And then I try to repair it using AI. And this is what it did. So it did actually do quite a good job, which means none of us are safe, none of us, basically. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. And yeah, I always found the image generation is a little bit off. So that's a very good presentation. So next, we are all Pythonistas, right? And a lot of times, like we will think about like, oh, what I can use with Python. And sometimes, you have some like, oh, how can I water my plants at home? Use Python. How can I feed my cat? Use Python. So can Python solve all my problems? So let's see if, our next speaker, Eric's going to show us how to use Python to solve all our problems.
All right, hey, guys. So this is not only my first Lightning talk, this is my first PyCon in person. So this is really exciting. And I decided to give this talk, thank you. This morning I was having breakfast with someone and they said they're going to give a talk, and I said, well, you know what, I can give one too. And so I put my name on the board and I got in. So let me go ahead and get started. So one of the biggest frustrations, and this kind of goes together with the talk that the lady from Budapest gave, which is you learn Python and then you say, well, what's left for me to create? Everyone's already created a clone of Tetris. They've already created a word processor. What can I do? And my answer to that is solve your frustrations, or, Al Sweigert's automate the boring stuff. He's right there. Isn't that amazing? PyCon is amazing, like sharing the stage with him right there. But yeah, so what's causing you a headache that's annoying for a human but easy for a computer? So for my talk, I want to take you through 4 of my projects that I've done, and then if I still have a few minutes at the end, I'll really quickly go through a few more. So here's the projects, and here's the libraries that I used. If you want to take a picture of the slides, or I don't know if this is going to end up online later. So let me go to the first one. So this is the Extra Life donation tracker. So Extra Life, they're a charity, and they raise money for hospitals for people playing games. So the hospital where my oldest was born, they saved her life in the first week of her life. So every year I play games to raise money. And so what you're seeing here, all the text on the screen, that's all generated by the program that I wrote in Python that's grabbing data from the API and all the people who've donated, if they have any messages, and how much I've raised, what the goal is. And so this really helps during the live event they have every year. Another thing that I made, again, in the video game realm, my brothers and I, we like to play Civilization 6, and they provide a webhook, but no way to notify you that it's your turn. So I made this website, and it also posts to Matrix, which is kind of like an open source Slack, and lets us know when it's the next person's turn. So here's a more close-up example. And then here's the games we finished, and you can pick who won. And here's an example in Matrix of the turn, whose turn it is. You can also ask it, like, whose turn is it? Who am I waiting for? And it'll tell you all the games. Another one I made, Task Warrior Web. So Task Warrior is a command line to-do list that's open source. And there used to be a website called In the AM that would provide you a free web interface. And the person decided, this is a lot of work. I don't want to do this anymore. So now I'm stuck at work, and I can't use my to-do list to get everything off my head so I can focus at work. So I used Flask and HTMX because I didn't want to learn JavaScript, and I created this website here. And so now, while I'm at work, I can jot down my notes and then get right back to work. And then at home, it'll sync with the command line interface. Last one that I had listed on here, I used a Raspberry Pi and a sensor to let me know when my garage door is open or closed. I kept leaving it open by accident, because we don't have an automated garage door, so we open it for the kids, and the kids are playing outside. They come in, we're eating dinner, and then my neighbor comes knocking on my door, hey, your garage is still open. So now it'll just tell me, hey, your garage door's open. This is also in Matrix. And I have it integrated with Home Assistant, and it'll also tell me in there. All right, so I got through those really fast. Here's a bunch of other stuff that I've made. I use Linux and ButterFS, so I create snapshots on there. We were paying off our house in a random schedule, so I couldn't just use Excel, so I made a calculator to do it. Raspberry Pi, because we kept forgetting to turn off the fan after a shower, and so it was getting all fogged up and everything, so this will detect, turn on the fan, turn it off after time. If anyone's still using Last.fm, I still am. So it tracks my favorite artists, and this will post to Mastodon what my weekly artists are. And photostats, that's pretty self-explanatory. Thank you, everybody.
Fantastic talk. And from one Mesa to another Mesa, I really liked it. We have the same last name, that's why I said that. Not that I expect you all to know that. So our last, but not least, lightning talk for today, I'm going to pass it over to Al, who's going to do some really cool things with like ASCII art and ... So why don't you go ahead and fill us in?
Hello. Let's do a live demo. Hi, my name's Al Swigert. I'm mostly known as the author of Automate the Boring Stuff with Python and a few other programming books. I teach people to code, and as part of that, I developed something I call scroll art. These are programs that just print text from within a loop. So as the screen fills up, the text starts scrolling upwards, and it produces this animated effect. Now, this is really simple. It's an easy and artistic way for beginners to get into code, but it's really surprising how sophisticated these programs can get. I've spent the last several months thinking way too hard about this, and I've ported a few of them to JavaScript and put them on scrollart.org. But these programs are so simple that you can do them in any programming language. You don't need to install any additional libraries. You could even do them from browser-based REPLs, which means you don't need a laptop to program. You could do this from a smartphone or a tablet. And so I've put together about 2,000 lines of Python code into a music video that I will perform for you now. The song is The Forbidden Zone, released in 1980 by the band Oingo Boingo, led by Danny Elfman. He is the composer of the theme song to The Simpsons, and I'll be controlling it from a separate terminal window, but let me just go ahead and start this up. Okay, and here we go. It starts off kind of quiet, but then it will very quickly pick up, so be prepared for that. much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that is amazing.
I think you should be our DJ for all Python events.
Woo!
I mean, we're already such an awesome, eccentric, and quirky community. Let's just do that. I'm very for it.
We have so many challenges.
So that concludes our first set of lightning talks. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Please come back tomorrow, bright and early at 8 a.m. for our next group of Lightning Talk speakers. Yes, I know that's a little early, but there's also breakfast, so think of it that way. You can get like caffeinated if that's your thing. Again, the boards are still up, but we're going to be taking them down pretty quickly. So if you did want to pitch, go sign up now, and then we will notify selected speakers tonight. Anything else?
I think that's it, and I'm looking forward to see all of you tomorrow morning.
Woo! Thank you, everyone.